Welcome.
To the Color and Life podcast.
Or welcome back, whichever matches the experience you have with our podcast. This is episode 28, part 2. We're going to start getting that.
Proud of yourself?
Yes, I am. Episode 28, part 2. I am Jennifer.
I'm John Michael.
And we can be found on www.colorandlifepodcast. There's places that you can find us on the screen right now. Junip on Ravelry, Sandboxer 7 on Ravelry, Sandboxer 7 on Ravelry. I'm Genuine Knits, most social media places. We are at Color and Life Podcast on Instagram. And the best place to find everything is www.colorandlifepodcast.com.
Yes.
And, okay.
And
before we move on,
to thank everyone.
Yes, before we move on, there are people who sent me presents for my birthday. And I wanted to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not going to go into it and show it because I'm really uncomfortable. First of all, I don't know that they want me to do that. It was a gift to me. And also, I don't want anybody who didn't send me something to feel bad like, oh, I should have sent her something, or because it's fine. I love getting presents, of course. Who doesn't? But I don't need them. I don't need them to care about you or to have. Anyway, that's getting weird and complicated. But suffice it to say,
it's one of her quirks.
Thank you very much, everybody who sent stuff. It's fantastic. And if you want me to show off stuff, you can tell me. But otherwise, I'll probably err on the side of not showing off personal gifts. Now, with that caveat done, I want to reassure anyone who wants to send a gift to the podcast, or who generally wants to send stuff to show or share or then give away, yes, those will definitely be shown on the podcast. But the personal part of it, if you send anything personal, that will just be personal for us.
Yep. And if you want it one way or the other, be sure to specify.
Yeah, just let us know. We will be uploading this, hopefully. The plan is to upload this
June
on
13th.
June 13th. Tuesday, June 13th.
It is a Tuesday. As always.
Yes. And what do we have for our viewers today?
A thing.
We have
all the alarms.
Which we only have one of.
Yes.
And we have Maker of the Month, which is you so-and-so.
Yes.
Then we have our conversation. Now, warning. Conversation.
Bit rambling.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
But, as you see, the topic is improvisation, so...
It was largely improvised.
It was... Okay, we'll go with improvised.
That makes it sound like we meant to do it on purpose. Which is totally the truth, yeah.
Hopefully the editing isn't too disastrous. Alrighty. And we have some questions for our viewers. From our viewers.
From our viewers.
From our viewers.
Yep.
So,
with that.
And if you have any questions for us, we forgot to say this in the question segment, but if you have any questions for us, please put them in the Ravelry thread.
Yes, please do.
And
on with the show.
On with the show. Is it time?
No.
No? Is it time?
Yes, it's time for the Color and Life Double Dog Dare Knit Along.
That probably will be the last time you hear that.
Yeah, actually.
No, maybe one more time.
Yeah, probably one more time.
So you've got one more week.
Yes, one more week.
And then finished objects and chatters and everything else. There's not a whole lot going on in your thread. But there are some people who have knit socks for the very first time.
That is excellent news.
And I am very excited about that. That is so happy. And David,
go forth unto the world, brand new sock knitters.
Yes.
And knit your socks.
And knit your socks.
The best socks.
Yes. They are. So.
I was going for something slightly more poetic than I achieved, but. And then the Easter eggs rules are on the website that we mentioned at the beginning. And that's it for our alongs.
That is it for our alongs. And now it's time for Maker of the Month.
Yes, the Maker of the Month.
Is Sarah from You So and So. And last time we showed her large and mediums, and these are happen to be doubles, so we showed the large and mediums. And here, hold on, I got the large and the medium. Now show up the small.
Oh
no, you gotta bring it up. And the small. So she's got, you're covering me.
Yep, that's the idea.
Okay, so large, medium, and small. And they are, I think those are the right sizes. There is stuff still in here, but I wanted to show you this cool little fabric on the inside too.
Is it secret stuff?
No, it's not secret stuff.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Then what is
it?
So
this is these sheep on the outside. I just love this with these little chicks.
What is the not secret stuff?
The leftovers from the Woodland Realm socks.
Ah.
I just haven't moved them into something else. So, these are fantastic bags. So she's got great bags. I use them a lot. I have quite a few of them. And I really like them. I really like the double one. Because not only you could put 2 projects in it,
yes,
or you could put multiple projects, multiple skeins, multiple projects in the big part, and then all your patterns and everything in the other.
You could put your purse in the big part and your knitting in the other part.
Very possibly.
Or the other way around if you have a very small purse.
So, we...
Not like Mother.
No. She has a coupon code and the website that are all have been up on the screen for a while. It's You Maker. And I forgot to say last episode I pointed out the You So and So, but I forgot to point out that the U is EWE and the So is, and both of the So's are SEWs. So all of that will have been up on the screen probably for a little while now. The coupon code she's offering is for 10% off, which is good through June, and it is it only excludes the Down by the River kits. So those are going to be, well, they have already been released. Anyway, you feel like you know.
I feel like I know a song that has lyrics that go something like that.
Something like what?
Down by the river. And
yeah, there are. There are a lot.
Yeah.
There are quite a few songs.
But no, there's a There's
a country song.
No, not a country song. It's
yes,
like
there are. There are several country
songs.
No,
I know, because that's a country song thing. But there's like another one where it's like, it's almost like a nursery rhyme kind of song, but not.
Down by the river. It's like a little chant.
Yeah, kind of. It's like halfway between a nursery rhyme and a chant, and I cannot for the life of me remember the lyrics. So if any of you have any inkling what I'm talking about, please
help him out. So,
because it's niggling my brain. It's something about bullfrogs, I remember. There's something about bullfrogs. It's like Down by the River or something about bullfrogs.
Anyway, we're moving on.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
We're moving on.
Do you not?
I do know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Are you just saying that to shut me up?
No, we need to move on.
Okay.
All right, we're moving on to the conversation now.
Yeah.
It's time to converse.
Yes, last week our topic was efficiency. And this week our topic is improvisation, because why not?
Improvising, yes. Exactly. You like to improvise words.
What?
You like to improvise words.
And now that I'm put on the spot, I can't do it.
So, I did want to... Okay, we need a knitting pause.
Yep, knitting pause.
Alright, so we're going to converse.
Yes, we're gonna conversate.
And I just pulled my...
Oh no! Oh
no! Only I didn't say fudge.
I said the word. The queen mother of all dirty words.
Okay.
The F... What? Oh, we're done with that?
We're done with that.
Oh, okay. Good. I was afraid that I had given too much away.
So, stitch recovered. I just pulled my needle out, but I didn't mean to, but my movement pulled my needle out at the end.
So,
we're conversating.
Yes, about improvisation.
And we improvised a word.
Yeah.
Conversate.
Oh, okay. I was like, improvisation is totally a word that exists.
Yeah, that is.
Improvising and knitting is how I knit. Mostly. I actually improvised this one just a bit. You're supposed to knit a little chain. Well, you're supposed to do it one way, and I was like, no, that's too complicated. I'm just gonna take my string and I'm gonna wrap it around the middle of the bow tie, and look how cute it is. It's such a perfect bow tie. This, by the way, knitting this bow tie made me want to knit more bow ties, but person-sized. So, bow ties in my future, because bow ties are cool. Anyway, yeah, so I improvise a lot in my knitting, and that's kind of what this dare has been about, is because I improvise so much, and I make up my own things, and so the dare was that I had to follow the pattern.
The whole pattern.
And nothing but the pattern, so help me yarn. Ooh, that was good.
Yes, well timed. We didn't even practice.
Just that in sync. We improvised.
So, I think, speaking of improvising,
yeah,
that there needs to be a little knot right at the end.
You got it.
There, and little fringes.
Here, let me just,
Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
It needs to be really close to the end.
I got it. I'm
not too close to
good
the
at this. I am a skilled yarn worker.
Would you consider yourself a yarn whisperer?
No.
Needs to be longer.
That would be
Longer. No, too short. You didn't understand what I was saying. It needs to be like right up where your... No, it needs to be up where your fingers are.
Well,
so that then you can fringe it out. Because they have tassels on the end.
There, is that better?
No.
That is just fine, and this is an extremely large tassel for this hat. There, it's perfect. That is perfect. You see that?
Wonky.
Absolutely,
Okay,
100% perfect tassel.
That's good.
Tassel making on the Color and Life podcast.
So, it was interesting. The idea to turn this into a topic actually came from a virtual knit night that I participated in.
Ah.
And we were talking about improvising, and someone said, because, how did it come up? I can't remember exactly how it came up, but I was having issues. I was knitting on my blanket, and I had too many stitches on one side, one extra stitch on one side than the other, and they're like, oh, just improvise. Just fudge it. And it was awesome because then we were talking and we talked about the idea of that improvising, a lot of knitting is just improvising, and that improvising is creative critical thinking. What do you think about that?
Well, I have to think about that for a second. Improvising. I mean, I suppose it would depend mostly on how skillful the improvising is.
How so?
Well, I mean, improvising is more just like when you have an excess of creativity and you just kind of have to... Well, no. That's what I do. But that's not necessarily what improvising is. It's more like you've got a problem and there's no one who knows how to fix it, or you're too busy to find a solution.
Improvising is mostly going off script.
Yeah.
You don't have a script, you don't have directions, you just start making it up as you go along.
I was thinking about Doctor Who, you know, that is like Doctor Who 101. I don't have a plan, I have a thing. It's like a plan. But more flexible.
So...
Am I right? That is like totally...
So do you think that improvising and knitting is creative critical thinking?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with no.
What would you say, how would you differentiate them then?
I would say creative critical thinking is what a really, really, really good scientist uses.
So has ideas, but really make sure there's critical thinking.
No. Critically thinks, but really, really creatively.
That is extremely tautological of you.
What?
You can't define something. If you define something with a definition, or is that recursive? Anyway.
Tautological is where it is defining it itself with itself.
That's what you just did.
No.
You said creative critical thinking is critical thinking creatively.
What? No, it's where things... Okay. I said, and I quote, it's where they think...
Should we roll the tape? I'm
It's
going to do something we've never done before. And I'm actually going to clip it out. I'm going to find it and clip it out and then play it right now.
Critically thinks, but really, really creatively.
Okay, now, he doesn't know what it is, but you all know what it is.
I said...
And now, we all know whether he was right or wrong at this point.
I said, it's where you think critically. It's stop it! You're laughing. It's screwing me up. I can't get a word out. Okay. So.
I'll sit here being quiet. Absolutely quiet. Not say anything. Mum's the word.
Except you're not being quiet. Anyway, I don't remember what I said anymore. I don't remember what I said anymore.
Of course you don't. That was my point. So.
And it's all your fault.
You need to improvise now.
But the point is, right, scientists are trained to think critically. Creative critical thinking. Yeah, I mean, it's not like improvising.
Hard sciences.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, soft sciences too. Economics. What?
Keep going. Keep going.
What? No. What was that snort? Come on.
The idea that economics is a science. Anyway, go on.
You know, economics is very close. Economics is very close buddies with psychology, and just because it doesn't. Okay, no, it does run tests. They do studies. They do economic studies, and they look at history, and they make economic projections, and it works. It's just most people aren't very good at it because they don't think critically.
Okay.
See?
We have so far digressed.
Yeah, we have. It's pretty bad.
Now, I'm going to.
How about we just have this be about critical thinking instead? Because that's what we talked about so far. Our conversation about improvising morphing into a conversation about critical thinking.
Now, that kind of digressed, and we have the idea, and the question is that you kind of just defined it with itself. Is improvising in knitting creative critical thinking?
Okay, here's why it's not. It's because critical thinking requires something to be critical of. Improvising requires working off script, which means you don't have the script, which means you have nothing to be critical of. Making it up as you go. It's not the same thing.
Okay.
There you go.
But I think I get the idea that was trying to be expressed behind that of creative critical thinking, which is you have to have enough knowledge to be. Improvising is challenging. You have, if you're acting improvising, let's just say that. So, Robin Williams, phenomenal improviser.
Amazing.
Has enough.
Mainly has to do with experience. I'll put that in now.
He had lots of experience, but he also had just this knowledge. Part of it was talent, but he also had a knowledge of the craft. And so he could think quick enough and do that kind of stuff to improvise. Improvising in knitting can go slower than improvising in acting. I mean, acting, you're there. You need to come up with something right then, that minute.
Yeah.
It needs to be improvised. You don't have
it. Needs to be instantaneous.
Right. Improvising in knitting can take a while. And would you say it's more improvising? That there's more improvising in knitting or fudging in knitting? And by the way, when we were talking about it, it was like, oh, just fudge it with my blanket. With the squares of my blanket. Oh, just fudge it. It'll be fine. Nobody will see it. And I think there's a lot of fudging in knitting.
Okay, here's what I will say. When I improvise a lot, I have to fudge a lot.
So you're saying improvising can lead to quite a bit of fudging?
Yes, improvising quite a bit can lead to fudging quite a bit. And with those mitts that I made you, the Firestorm bits, oh, so much fudge. It's just like they should be.
Okay, but I want to. We're gonna.
They should taste so sweet.
We're gonna share
quantity of fudge.
Yeah,
in those.
We're gonna share a thing from Shamika, from Shamika Knits. She was on that virtual knit night, and we were talking, and she's like, "Oh, just fudge it. Fudge tastes good." So we need to turn that into a thing. Whenever we're doing something, fudge tastes good.
And And yeah, okay. Yeah, fudge does taste good.
So you're saying your mitts are pretty sweet
So full
because
of fudge.
of the
So full of fudge. Like,
because of all the fudge.
oh, so much fudge. Anyway,
So you're thinking,
but I took those mitts. The only thing I was working off of is a 30 stitch cast on size 8s. Actually size 6s. So I had to go up to 34 stitches. So I was on size 6s, 34 stitches, and that was the only thing I started with. That was it. And I just I started knitting, and I was like, I want a braided cable up the front. So I was like, 6 stitches, 2 going back and forth.
3.
What?
6 stitches, 3 going back and forth.
Braided cable.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
If you look at it, it's braided.
Yeah, got it.
Anyway, so I made it up, and as a result, my stitch counts were a little off, and they weren't exactly the same. And there's some parts where it's wider, and there's a hole at
You
one
had seed
spot.
stitch as the background.
Yeah, I did, and that actually covered a lot, but it also made it kind of challenging when I got to the decreases. So yeah, there's that.
They're very sweet
Yeah.
because fudge tastes good.
Yes, fudge does taste good.
So improvising leads to fudging.
Not out
Improvising
of necessity.
is not just fudging.
Those with great talent in improvising require less fudge.
So fudging is a
Byproduct of untalented improvisation.
fudging is a product of fixing mistakes. Trying to fudge the situation back into something that works. Instead of having something that led easily and cleanly into the way it was supposed to be.
Fudging is only necessary when you did something wrong and you don't want to go back and fix it.
All the way back. To find whatever it is.
Wherever back.
Wherever back. Or do the thing. Okay.
I mean,
So,
you fudge to not have to go and do it the right way. I mean, fudge is for lazy people. Which is true. You can't deny.
But I don't know that I'd say it's for lazy people because I fudged and I don't think I was lazy. I pulled it out several different times to figure it out and to do it, and then finally I figured out what it was, and I thought I had finished it, and it was too long. So I had made the fix on the wrong side. I had added one instead of decreasing one extra. So the center double decrease, all of that was off by 1 stitch. So at some point about halfway up, I just did a knit 3 together. I had first tried the other, but then I slipped 3 stitches and then slipped them over to decrease extra on that one side so it came up clean and even. And it worked.
Yeah, I don't doubt that
I dare you to find which square it is.
I don't care to, because there are a lot of squares in that blanket. You've been busy. The point is...
But my point is you couldn't just see it.
I don't mean lazy as an insult. I mean lazy as a fact. And not a particularly pejorative term either. Lazy is just I don't want, need, or care to do this. So
let's
fudge.
I think so fudge. So maybe we can have something other than lazy to describe that.
Well,
what else could it be?
Lazy precisely describes it. I don't want to do it.
But I don't know that that's lazy. Like that those blankets. I've been working really hard. I'd spent a whole lot of time in it. I don't know that I'm...
I reject the pejorative aspect of that word. I don't mean it as an insult
in this case or in all cases. Because I understand why as a teenager you would want to reject it in all cases.
That is not the point. The point is, I use it in a way that rejects that. Meaning that I don't intend, well...
In a knitting case.
Sure. Why not?
No, I mean it. I'm clarifying.
I, in general, don't tend to use things pejoratively. So, I'm going to go with in general.
Okay. Where are we then? With talking about improvising. So improvising...
is not fudging.
Is not fudging.
Improvising is taking the plan and specifically not doing it.
Doing something other than the plan.
Or, not having a plan in the first place.
Not having a plan in the first place. Okay.
You have a thing instead.
You have a thing.
I really like
it's
that.
Like a plan.
Have I ever shared with
wonderful.
you just how much I like that?
I love it too.
That idea.
So.
It's from the 11th Doctor.
That's kind of
in case you're wondering. It's
I have a thing.
It's something
like
that he
plan.
says. She's like, "Do you have a plan?" And he's like, "No, I have a thing."
It's like a plan. Might become a plan.
Yeah, it might become a plan.
But it's a thing. Anyway.
They sort of they're like baby plans. They aren't plans yet. But they might grow up and they might grow up to be plans, but they're not yet.
They can shift and change and become something totally different than what you originally thought. All right.
Yeah, that's kind of how I start. That's kind of how I make my projects.
Is with a thing.
Yeah, I'm like, I want a thing.
You don't have a plan. You just have a thing.
Yep.
It's like a plan.
Might soon become a plan.
But it's a thing.
And there you go. That's improvisation.
Improvisation is. Do you think it's important?
Yes, absolutely.
Just because you do it?
Life never follows script.
Ah.
And
but
you
does
can
knitting...
quote me. How many times has your knitting followed your script? Yeah. Exactly.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that I just exactly followed the pattern.
Bon Bon?
Bon Bon. I exactly followed the pattern on Bon Bon, actually.
The poster child for a plan.
The poster child for a plan in my life is Bon Bon.
I find that stuffies often are, because I don't think anybody really knits enough stuffies to become really good at improvising them. Though I plan to.
Susan Clandino.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean,
Susan B. Anderson.
The woman is a genius, but that's, I mean, the person in general,
Just the general you?
Yeah, the general you. I did say anyone, which is, that's shame on me for using a,
global?
Yeah, a global, there's an absolute.
Okay.
Used an absolute term.
All right. Anything else at this moment about improvisation?
Oh,
so I'm trying to wrap it up. I'm trying to, draw together the threads of this conversation.
No. Wrong.
Fail.
No. You get your crocoduck out of here. Was that
Big
the same
fan?
guy, or was that different guy?
Different guy.
Yeah.
You mixture. Anyway. All right. So. No, I really was trying to summarize. So, in summary, improvisation, fudging, and creative critical thinking are all different.
Yes. Distinct.
They're all distinct from one another.
Yes.
They sometimes lead to one another.
Yes. Which is why I wouldn't
Or
use the term.
from
Which is
one
why I
another.
wouldn't use the term different, because, I mean, they have differences, but they're distinct, but they're in the same category. I think different is too strong a term.
And the category that they all are in is.
You're making it up. Making things up, essentially. That's the category they're in.
Okay. So, creativity and trying to make it work.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Do we have any final thoughts?
Ooh. No, sorry.
Okay. I don't think I have any except for fudge tastes good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
tastes
Shamika.
good.
Fudge tastes good. Thanks, Shamika.
We ran out of fudge kits. We used to have a whole bunch of fudge kits.
We don't
and
have
ate
any
'em all.
more?
Yeah, we're out. We only have the pumpkin bread left.
Totally out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one time we were at Sam's Club and they just had like massive.
No, it was King Supers.
It was King Supers.
King Supers
Sure,
had them
it
on
was
sale.
King Supers. Oh, and they were on sale.
Every
and
time we went this one season, they were on sale and they kept going them farther on sale, and so we just bought them every single time.
No, I think one time you came home with like a whole ton of them. Like you loaded up the
That
car
too.
with them. There were so many. We had at least 40 of them.
No, not 40.
Yeah, definitely 40.
We didn't buy 40.
Definitely. And there were pumpkin bread kits too. We
Pumpkin
still
bread
have
kits,
those.
yes.
We still make them. They're really good.
They are good.
Sugary.
Okay. But they're not fudge.
Nope.
We're talking about fudge. Tastes
This
good.
is true.
Make it a thing, guys.
Fudge
Make it a
tastes
thing.
good. I want to see buttons.
Oh,
I want to see buttons with little squares of fudge.
fudge tastes good.
This is important.
Knitted fudge with knitting with like, oh, that would be good. Okay. So,
No, you need just like
questions for our viewers.
you need just like a picture of a really obviously fudged piece. Like just you need a really obvious fudge, and then just put that on it and say fudge tastes good. I'm not sure quite how you do that.
You have to blend the fudge. Anyway. So, questions for our viewers.
Well, what do you want to ask them?
Questions for our viewers. Come up with a question.
Me. Well, do you agree with the definitions that I've so quickly made up? Improvised? You might even say.
So, what do you think? Do you think that that's what it is? Do you think they're different? Or do you think they're distinct? Do you think they're different?
Yes. No.
What do you
Wait.
think they mean? And we're talking about improvising, fudging, and creative critical thinking.
Yes, definitely different things.
Do you think we should
Distinct
have,
things.
Do you think we should have creative critical thinking be a topic?
No.
We'll see.
Because critical thinking doesn't... No.
So, all right. We have questions from our viewers this week.
Ooh, questions from our viewers. What questions?
So it's time for questions from
What
our
are the
viewers.
questions?
You have to wait and
I'm
not
excited.
talk over the top of me.
I'm excited for questions for our viewers. From our viewers.
Okay. So Ruth Rabbit asked, do we knit for the process or the product?
I don't know. I've knitted for both. I'm going to go with product right now. Well, process for this one. Product for this one. Oh, I'm covering product for this one. Product more often than not.
You tend to be a very product knitter.
Yes. Which makes it hard because I tend to want to knit very large products.
Yeah, and then you get distracted.
Hey,
Sparkly
read
squirrel.
your. I prefer.
Sparkly squirrel.
What, did that squirrel get
That
attacked
should
by
be a
a
thing.
10-year-old
Sparkly.
girl?
Anyway.
I just had this picture of a really, a squirrel that had been splashed with glitter glue. That was inexplicably pink, because all glitter glue in my mind is pink. It's not a prejudice, it's just...
So
just
you
pink.
knit for the product.
Yes.
I knit for the process. And I mostly knit for the process. Products are great. But I mostly... That's changing a little bit as I'm designing more. As I'm designing more, it is becoming more and more product. I need to knit to get this product done. I think that might be why I got so into the blanket squares and making my blanket, because that is totally process.
No, it's both.
For me, yeah, well, okay, but the primary thing is the process of knitting and forming that square.
See, my personal opinion on theory, I'm going to go with theory. Hypothesis, even better. My personal hypothesis on why everyone is so taken with little granny square blankets, or
The granny stripe blankets?
the granny stripe or the granny square blanket. You know, all these little scrappy projects.
Mitered square. Mine's a mitered square blanket. Okay, stop.
So, that whole category of things is that it's incremental knitting, and so it feels.
It's iterative.
It is, but that's not quite relevant to the point.
Okay.
It's more. I mean, it's that it's so. What was the word I used just now?
Incremental.
Incremental. It's incremental, and so as a result, you feel like you're getting something done, and you can, it's a. So let's see.
You get that completion.
Yeah, completion. It's dopamine or serotonin. I forget.
Dopamine.
The dopamine. It's definitely dopamine. So you get a dopamine release when you complete something, and you've been looking forward to it. So you're like, hey, I completed it. Cool. And
But
so
you don't
get
have to
that
finish
more
the whole
often.
blanket.
And so you get that more often, and it's a sort of addiction thing, but not like really strong or anything. Just a little subtle mental addiction. Our brains thrive off of them.
Okay.
That's what habits are. Sort of. Slightly different.
All right. So, we have another question. This one came from, it was a PM. Somebody private messaged me asking about how I do my sock, how I make sure there's not a hole when I'm moving from working my heels into working either the gusset part or the leg part, depending on if you're toe up knitter, you know what I'm talking about. If you're top down knitter, then the other one makes sense to you. So one of them makes sense to each, whichever direction you knit. So I didn't think this out completely of how I was going to show you. So she wanted to see how I lift, because I don't just lift the bar.
Ooh, do you lift it and twist it?
Mm-mm.
Do you do a little lift and twist?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Because that's how I would do it.
So.
I would do the classic lift and twist.
to try not to make this too loud. But what I do is I go down. There's the bar right between, and some people just lift this up and make it, but to me that makes it a hole. So I go down and lift this one up and put it on, and then work it. Now, alright, now let me go back. Now the thing about that,
She turned the screen around.
so I could see what was happening, make sure you can see it. So the thing that happens whenever you're working this, and this is what I teach when I teach socks, is you lift up whatever you do, make the stitches, whatever works for you, but the practice, experiment with it, figure out which way works for you.
Experimenting, important part of improvisation.
Okay.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You have to remember what works and what doesn't, so you can experiment, so you can improvise better.
This is kind of an improvisation.
Yes, it's one that you made up.
When you're doing it. So what you do is, and several other people do this, so it's not just like it's this totally unique brand new thing to me. But you lift up that leg and put it on, and then you work those things. If it didn't close up the hole, as you're going back around, lift up from behind, and then that'll close the gap. And it doesn't matter that it's a row. You've knit a whole round on your legs and you still see a little hole. Just lift that. Then you can lift the bar up. Then you can lift the bar up in between. Lift it up behind, twist it, put it on, knit those two together, or slip, slip, knit, whichever, depending on which direction you're going. And that'll close up your hole. So,
have we
that's what I
talked
have to say
about
that.
how slip, slip knits are knit two together through the back loop? Have we talked about that?
No, and they're not.
They are. They're exactly the same thing.
You have.
Yep.
I would have to look into that. Anyway.
Yeah, well, you said that
but
last
the point
time,
was,
and then
the point was wanting to know how I lift up and where I lift up from, and wanting a picture of it. And I said we would answer it in this episode. So there it is.
Right.
That was the question.
But along the lines of improvisation.
Okay.
Or something. Might have been this. Might have been a stuffy. It was one of those things, and I came to it, and it was slip, slip, knit, and I was like, this slip, slip, knit thing, it's really getting me down. It's like, you slip, and then you slip, and then it's not quite knit, because you're knitting with the other needle, and it just doesn't make any sense. So I got to thinking about it, and I was like, the structure, right, is just to make it lean the other way. So you need this right stitch to be on top instead of the left stitch to be. Yeah,
you're wrong. They're not exactly the same.
I'm.
You are incorrect.
Here, let me.
And I will show you why.
Okay, I'm gonna slip. I'm gonna slip. Then I'm gonna knit. Right.
Mhm. No. That's why you're doing it wrong.
What?
Yep. Here, you're doing your slip, slip, knit. It's wrong. Watch. Watch. Slip. Slip as if to knit. Go through the front this way. And knit through the back loop.
Okay, well, let me, because I always slipped them as if to purl.
Right.
Because
so that's part of the problem.
Slip as if to knit.
Slip as if to knit.
Okay, so what just happened there? We twisted both the stitches, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, slightly different.
Yep.
And the only difference is that the back legs are now in front. It's the only difference.
So if you knit two through the back loop.
But then you do this.
Watch.
And yeah, that's the only thing. You just twisted both stitches.
If you knit two through the back loop, then your stitches are twisted.
No.
Yes.
No, they're exactly right.
No, they're not. I just knit two through the back loop.
Yeah.
That one is behind the other one. They're not. It's not
exactly
straight.
Right.
Nope.
That's how it's supposed to be.
No, it's not. If you do a slip, slip, knit, then your stitches, then your first stitch that you slipped will be straight. I can't do it with this anymore. I will show John Michael what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Interesting.
We will explore this further.
Okay.
But not quite. So no, don't just think you can knit two together through the back loop and end up with a slip slip knit. The anatomy is different.
Well, I mean, I've been
the structure
doing that.
is different.
I mean, I've been doing that all the way up the side here, and it looks just fine.
Every single one of those is twisted. It does look fine. You're right. It looks okay. But you created a design element, and dude, you just failed because you didn't do the whole pattern and nothing but the pattern.
No, that's totally a slip. No, this is, but this is.
Did you do it on the other one too?
Yeah, I did it all the way up. See, look.
They're all twisted.
Should have kept my stupid mouth shut. Should have.
Okay.
Just kept my stupid mouth shut.
All right. So
No. That's a mistake. That's a mistake that I made, and I choose not to go back and redo it because that would be just terrible.
So fudge tastes good.
So I'm gonna fudge the entire pattern because I messed up, and it's all gonna be knit two together through the back loop.
Because you're gonna continue that so that it looks the same.
Yeah, exactly. See, you know, it's.
We'll have another discussion about this.
What would you have me do?
It does look very pretty. And twisted stitches can be a design element that are nice.
See, it's fine.
But it's not the original pattern design element.
It's fine. Totally fine.
Alrighty. So, I think that is the end of our questions from viewers.
Okay, then.
And I hope that helped to see the picture of how and where I lift up.
Cool.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it for today.
All right. Well, until next time.
Have a colorful life.